The next convention I went to, EuroGenCon. Now, of course, we discussed Gen Con at the time, and still a very significant tabletop gaming convention. EuroGenCon was obviously meant to be the European equivalent. Now, this left me with the idea I would be going to a convention as grand and as well populated as Gen Con. This was not the case. I also had to get a passport on which of course, since I had a trip planned, they were able to push it too quickly. So I got my first passport. It was the first time I flew internationally, which let me point out something. I hate flying internationally because I just am not one of those people that can sleep on an airplane. So, cranky. Now, I should have known, getting off the airplane, that was going to be a problem. At least at the time. And remember, this is 1993. And they hand out these cards you need to fill out where you're going to be staying during your trip. Now, the person who was the head of our expedition this time was Kathleen Atkinson, Peter's wife and vice president of the company. And she's helping us all fill out the cards. Okay, so we had to put down where we were staying. And I was just by rote writing them down. I knew nothing about where we were going. We were going to a place called Pontins in Camber Sands. And apparently we had to, it was very important we specified where we were staying, that it was Camber Sands, because there was more than one Pontins. Rosso, if you want to chime up at any point with your opinion of Pontins, please feel free. So I handed it to the person at customs as we were deplaning. He giggled. This should have been a sign. So then it was time to go. And we rented 2 vehicles. And most of the group went in one and I went in another. And this vehicle was being ridden by another of the VPs of the company. Not going to name his name. Let's just call him... this was a guy who kept getting weird nicknames. So let's call him Woo Boogaroo, because that was oddly the name Jesper Mirfors kept calling him. So we're just going to call him Woo. He was in no way Asian, by the way. Just he was not the most ethical man in the world. I'll just leave it at that. No, it is not Mark Rosewater. He wasn't even he hadn't even met anyone from the company yet. No, this was not Mark. This was somebody well ahead of that time. This is somebody from the original group in 93. All I'm going to say is this. He was driving. Remember I said I can't sleep on airplanes? I can sleep in cars. So I asked, can I catch a nap? He's like, go ahead. Go ahead. I can get it. That's fine. I've got a map. We're good. Now, let me tell you something. The maps we had were very easy to read. They were great maps. The British roadway system, at least at the time, was very easy to understand. The markers, you could tell, if you saw a marker, you could find yourself on the map. You could know exactly where you were. So we were leaving from Heathrow. It's basically London. And we were supposed to go to Camber Sands, which was near Hastings. So if you know where the Battle of Hastings happened, if you're looking at a map of the UK, just use that as your guide. We were supposed to go from Heathrow to Hastings. So I fell asleep. I slept for a little while. Eventually I woke up. My first question is, so where are we? And Wu was like, we should be here some. We should be there soon. Check the map. All right. I looked at the map. Then I reiterated, where are we supposed to be? Camber Sands. Wu. We're in Blackpool. Okay. Now, let me explain. Now, again, if Rosso is still in here, he is at this point, if he isn't screaming, I don't know why, or he's just fled. Yes, there we go! There we go! That's the right reaction, Rosso. For you Americans, I will. The scale is different, but I'll still give you the idea of how far off we were. So, I live in Washington State. And let's say my goal was to go to Florida. So that's like, but instead of ending up in Florida, you end up in San Diego, California. We were on the wrong side of the country. We had gotten as far away from our destination as humanly possible and still being in England. So we needed to figure our way and turn and go. And the whole time he had this obsession. He wanted to go to castles. That was his whole thing. I want to go to visit a castle. He was like, keep your eye open for castles. I thought maybe it was a better idea to keep my eyes open on where the hell we're going. Because we had clearly gone to the wrong place. Is what in England is known as a holiday camp. The idea is it's a place where a family can go on holiday and they can just go to the camp. They don't have to leave. Food is provided. Entertainment is provided. They have rooms. They just go to this holiday camp. So there was a joke, and which I later found unfortunately had basis in reality, that Pontins was created by a group of former World War II POWs who missed the camaraderie of the camps. This wasn't far off. It was actually created by World War II veterans. The point is, a holiday camp is something that I think there was a sitcom at the time. I do know somebody who we met outside had made people were. It was a joke that we were at Pontins. It was, and oh yes, we got there, and they handed me a key to my chateau. Yes, you're in Chateau 209. It's one of the nicer chateaus. Oh, chateau. And by chateau, apparently they meant motel room. Because that's what it was. It was a motel room I was sharing with a couple of other people. But it was one of the nice ones. The heat was not coin operated.